Hi there and welcome back to the channel. On the bench is a KV 1400U. I have done one of these on before on my channel. Neil at the RMC Cave gave me essentially one that had been drop kicked and was dead, and I repaired the board on it. It was a great big corner snapped off of the PCB board, and I got it working. That was a nice fix. This one comes from the We Love CRT guys in Liverpool. This I sort of saw when I first went there, and I just thought, no, it's a bit too damaged, a bit too crappy. And then they put it up on eBay, and the more I looked at it, I thought, well, actually, it's a scruffy box. Basically, it's been absolutely mullered all over the place. It's essentially in one piece, but it's just so cosmetically challenged, and it's a bit beaten, it's a bit unloved. They did get a picture out of it, but I also want to verify that myself here as well, partly because these sets tend to have a habit of having bad solder joints all over the place, and weird things happen. And it was like with the one from Neil's, I fixed the board, but there was a ton of other stuff, so how the thing actually worked, I don't know. It's a pretty common set from the early 1990s. I had one. I bought one brand new back in, 1993, 1994. And they had a really good picture. They were a good utilitarian set. They had this lovely tilt facility, which doesn't work here because the case is a bit warped. So you could actually raise it up a little bit. It's an iconic 90s Sony set. It's a bit of plastic crap, but it's all right. I said the case is a bit damaged and so forth. It just needs a lot of love. And I thought, well, let's just go for it. It's a bit scratched, a bit unloved, but why not? And this is really just sort of me. I've got a fondness for this particular model because I bought one brand new as well. And I had it for many years. And then I can't remember what the hell happened to it. Gone in the midst of time. But yeah, I have noticed that there's a bit of the plastic on the mounting points that was cracked off, but I can repair that. It's very scuffed. I think what happened is that it was actually on its top, and it got slid across the floor. This cable was actually out and physically pulled out. I've actually put it back in there just for safety. So I think somebody grabbed hold of the cable, yanked it out of the case, and slid it across the floor. Yeah, it wasn't the best scenario for it, an environment, but I like them. I really like these. And it's got a couple of really nasty little dents here, and I think there's one there. That's fine. That's all right. I can actually smooth that out so it's not so ridged on there and sort that. Ultimately, when I saw the picture on this, I thought, right, okay, let's get it and then do the convergence on it, because this will be a great set to show off how to do convergence, because I saw the convergence and it was just completely whacked out. So yeah, it was basically a test set to demo on my channel on the Resurrection Retro on how to do convergence on a Sony, which I will do. But as I said, let's see how it goes, see what happens with it. A bit of magic eraser might take some of this off, and a bit of polishing might actually take some of that out. But the plastics are all damaged here, so I've got a hard job to actually get this thing back into some sort of semblance. So it might just be that I give it on to somebody else, or if it dies or something happens, it'll just go straight into the e-waste. So yeah, let's open it up and have a look inside and see what we can see. So there we go. It's a pretty stock standard Sony chassis. It's an A34JB U70X tube, which is, I believe, the dark phosphor tube. KM 1400U, chassis number SCC D86Q-A. Yeah, it's looking a bit unloved and unhappy. It has been through the wars. The tube looks remarkably good. Let me just get a cloth and clean that. I don't think it's been used that much. Yeah, no, it has. As you can see, the discoloration of that. If it was new, it would look like that, but it's not. That's actually darker, and that's where the filaments live underneath there. So that cap the actual metal tends to change colour. It's not that bad. It's quite usable. I've seen worse, far worse than that. Bit of hot snot on all of the purity rings. The yoke looks pretty reasonable. It's unplugged at the moment. No corrosion. 9th of the 2nd, 1994. So that is UK date. So that's the 9th of the February 1994, which is probably actually about when I bought mine. Yeah, it would have been about when I bought mine, about 93, 94. We've got a chip there, which is a TDA 8304, which might be basically like a jungle chip, but it might also do a hell of a lot more. I think there might be a Teletext chip at the front there. That shield is quite corroded. Looking around, it seems to be okay. It's quite dusty. The caps don't look too bad. Let's have a look around here. Yeah, no sign of any damage or anything like that. Internally it's not too bad. It's just the externals are just challenged, I think the word is. No plastics have really been damaged as far as I can see. Okay, let's put you on the stand and let's start this thing up and see what happens. As it has been powered up by the guys at We Love CRT, I'm not going to go through the whole rigmarole of a dim bulb tester and stuff like that. You can get away with doing a dim bulb tester on these ones. It's the older Sonys that you shouldn't. Or if you do, then be very careful. Oh, and yes, these things here are put on there to align the convergence. Have we got another one on that side? No, it doesn't look like one has fallen off. These are sticky magnets, and sometimes what happens is the stickiness comes off, and sort of it degrades and it falls off, and then you get convergence problems and purity problems. So yeah, all looks pretty standard to me. This was the thing that actually had pulled out the strain relief on there. It just come through, so I put it back in place before I started this video. Let's power it up. I've got a SCART with a DVD sitting up there playing away, so we've got a video source. Let's power it up and see what happens. Okay, let's power on and turn it on. The lovely chirp of a degaussing. Oh.
Goody,
Oh, wow.
yum, yum.
Well, that was loud. Oh, look at that picture. Oh, okay, I need to go to that's pretty awful. Hang on. Okay, I don't know whether you can see or not, but there's a lot of issues. Lots of blurring across. It was really bad when it first started up. Let's see what we can. So that's the contrast. Yeah, as you can see, it's the bleeding. It seems to be changing quite a bit as well as I'm doing stuff. Brightness. Come on, color. Let's reduce the colour. Yeah, it's a very smeary picture. Let me get you down and so you can see a bit closer. So as you can see, it's very, very smeary. All the way along, again, all along here. It's pretty awful. This could be capacitors. This could definitely be capacitors. So if I turn up the... let's have a look. It's interesting, it goes into that sort of red. Yeah, so there is some pretty awful, problems with this. Let's turn the colour up to about half. Yeah, that's about half. That's about 3/4. Let's bring that down. Interesting that actually if you reduce the contrast, then it all goes away, which is interesting. So if I, as you can see, just as I bring the brightness up, it's all starting to go there. It might be worth letting it run for a while, then let the capacitors reform and see how it goes. The focus is actually pretty good. The basic convergence is sound, but what I saw in the eBay listing was a pretty crappy picture, and I just thought that's ripe for my channel. I've got a remote from my main LCD flat panel Sony TV, and it actually does work with this. I don't know which options is it. Options. So it hasn't got any of the main controls, so I can go to that. Yeah, it seems to just disappear off. That's power on and off. Whenever it goes to the tuner, it seems to just stop. Yeah, it's gone back to RGB onto the SCART. Very interesting, isn't it? It's just, it's not good. It really isn't good. It's very, very blurry indeed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this run for a little while and see how the picture actually improves, and then I will start looking at whether to do a capacitor replacement on this. I'd also want to do a CRT test on this. I think I might have the relevant adapter for this. So yeah, it is pretty crap, I will say that. Let's run and see how good or bad it gets. I thought I'd actually quickly put the test CD in, and as you can see, it's very blurry. So if I go to the test card, let's turn that down. See the smearing? It's really bad. Green is reasonably bright, and the camera looks a bit dull, but it's actually quite bright. Red is a bit less than that. So green is being driven much harder than the others. If I go to, yeah, the convergence is off. It's off all down the sides here. And this is through SCART. So if we go next. Oh, look, there's actually a blurring right down that colour. Oh, fantastic. Okay, this could be a dead tube for all I know. That's red. Seems to be right. The corners are a little bit off, but with purity, but that's fine. Green is very bright indeed, and there's a bit of purity issues down here. And that's blue. Again, not too bad. Bit of purity and that's issues, but white, yeah, you've got purity here, purity issues here and here. It's only that top corner that hasn't. Yeah. Let's go back. I'm going to put it back on test with some material. I might put Doctor Who on, something like that, while I'm working, and just let it run for a little while, and then get some warmth into it, and then we can start seeing if once the electronics start warming up, how bad it really is. So I've let the TV cool down a bit, and I'm going to turn it on now, and let's see what type of picture we get. It's quite pink. We've got a lot of bleeding from the red. The green looks white. Oh, that changed. Okay. Wow. Okay. It's got this thing where basically if it goes to the OSD to help you change controls, it actually goes pink. So yeah, that's really odd. So if I let it go, and then as soon as that goes, it goes back to... How weird. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back together again. It's more of a longer term plan to try and see what I can do with it. It's got some very interesting faults. Let's just turn that volume down. So you can see, look. Right, ready? Wow, that's interesting. So yeah, so I'm going to crack on with something else. I'm going to put this back together again, and then I'm going to do another video where I actually do a much deeper dive into this set and explore some of the waveforms going into the red gun, as suggested by John, my friend John. Yeah, I'm going to basically see what I find, but also put the CRT tester on it. I might even put the CRT tester on it now. I think that's a good move, actually. Let me see whether I've got the connector for it. Hold on. So neither of my Trinitron adapters actually fit this tube. So you've got the smaller one, and then you've then got the larger one. That's 6 and 3 on the BK adapter list. So yeah, I don't have it, so I can't test the tube. As I said, the tube, it's got hours on it, but it's not that excessive. So yeah, this could just be purely electronics. Let's see what happens. Right, I'm going to put this back together again, and I'm going to put it to one side, and I'm going to get on with some other stuff. What I'm going to do is come back to this. I'm going to do another video on this, and actually go through again, check waveforms, and also check capacitors and see whether we've got any dodgy capacitors in any of this, which is actually affecting it. So okay, thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.